Tonight on News 22, it was a big day for Catholics around the world and here in Las Cruces.
For Black History Month, we'll tell you the story of the woman behind Clarabelle Williams Hall.
And the torch goes out on the oldest Olympic sport. News 22 starts now.
Serving southern New Mexico, this is the award-winning KRWG-TV News 22, where news matters.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Josie Ortegon.
And I'm Zach Rael. Catholics all over the world are looking at big changes to their church. While Pope Benedict ended his papacy today, the Las Cruces Diocese gained a new bishop. News 22's Veronica Baque was there for his installation.
The Catholic faithful filled the Las Cruces Convention Center as Bishop Ricardo Ramirez passed the torch to new Bishop Oscar Cantu. Cantu is a son of immigrants from Monterrey, Mexico, and grew up in Houston. When I talked with him before the ceremony, he said among his first goals is to meet the priests in the diocese.
To know the priests because they're my closest and first collaborators in the ministry, and as well as deacons and religious and church leaders.
Since his flock is here along the border, he supports immigration reform and hopes Congress can get it done.
As a Catholic Church, that it is a right of individuals and families to migrate, especially to support themselves and their families.
He is only the second bishop for the Las Cruces Diocese. He says one of his biggest challenges will be to help raise educational standards.
Give them the best opportunities to learn and to open avenues for them.
Parishioners say the emphasis on education is exactly what they want to hear.
But it's great because he's all about education.
It was bittersweet for the faithful. They say goodbye to their first bishop, Ricardo Ramirez, and say hello to Bishop Cantu. Veronica Baque, News 22.
Far away in Rome, Pope Benedict became the first pope in 600 years to resign. The Swiss Guard standing at attention in Castel Gandolfo shut the gates, symbolically closing the doors on a papacy whose legacy will mostly be marked by the way it ended, a resignation instead of a death. During his 8 years as Pope, Benedict struggled to move the church past these sex abuse scandals and other troubles. New Las Cruces Bishop Oscar Cantu says the Pope doesn't have direct oversight over everything, so he can't be blamed for all of the problems.
For someone to step in who has the savvy to kind of look at all of that bureaucracy and to get a firm handle on it.
And in a final farewell to his cardinals, the Pope pledged his unconditional reverence and obedience to his successors.
And the other big story today, Congress still hasn't done anything to stop deep budget cuts under sequestration. That means the Las Cruces public schools will face cuts to programs including Title I, Title II, and the Head Start program. Title I focuses on reading and math, Title II on professional development for teachers. The cuts will limit the number of conferences and training teachers can attend. And the Head Start program provides academic support for low-income students. The cuts won't really hurt LCPS, at least not yet.
This school year, we have fully funded in anticipation of a federal cutback. So there won't be anyone that loses their job, even if they are being paid from the federal government within the school system.
And even though the cafeteria food is a federally funded program, Galvan says they won't see any cuts made there. And Senator Tom Udall is aiming to protect schools in New Mexico from those budget cuts. The bill he proposed aims to protect health and physical education classes. It would classify health and PE classes as core subjects under federal law. That would make them available for federal education funding. That's just one thing Senator Udall is worried about.
Sequestration will also be very damaging to some of New Mexico's most vulnerable children in need of a quality education, rural communities struggling with housing, and homeless veterans seeking emergency shelter.
He's also concerned about the safety of New Mexico's federal labs. He says deep cuts can make them dangerous to the people that live nearby.
New Mexico is a dry state anyway, and the ongoing drought is forcing us to change our ways. First of all, the U.S. Department of Agriculture has designated 23 counties eligible for natural disaster relief because of the drought. That means farmers in those counties qualify for natural disaster assistance, including low-interest loans. It includes most counties in New Mexico, including Doña Ana County. And in addition, Albuquerque has declared a drought watch that increases fines for wasting water. The fines are increased from $20 to $40.
And Daniel's next with the first look at weather.
All right, thank you very much, guys. Well, we had a pretty nice day overall today. We had a cold morning, but it later cooled down just a little, or warmed up rather. We had a temperature right now checking in at 47, north-northeast at 6 miles per hour, that humidity at 16%. Take a look at this number here. The dew point measures the atmospheric moisture, and right now it's really low. So there's no chance of rain whatsoever, not even a cloud in the sky, obviously, and the barometer right now is at 30.32 inches, a little high there for any type of weather activity. Let's jump over to the next graphic here, the almanac for today. We saw a high temperature of 54 degrees. Our average for this time of the year is 67, so we're still relatively cooler than where we should be at this time of the year. Our low today was 34 degrees. Now, back in 2008, we hit a record of 81 degrees and a record low in 2011 at 19 degrees. No precipitation whatsoever. You want to stay tuned because I've got to look at your weekend coming up.
Up in Santa Fe today, tougher DWI laws, an increase to the minimum wage, and grades for public schools were among topics at the state legislature. The House unanimously passed a proposal making it more difficult for drunk drivers to get their licenses fully restored. The measure also calls for mandatory prison time for offenders with a felony. It will now go to the Senate for a vote. A House committee approved a bill to increase the state's minimum wage for inflation. Republicans oppose the measure. If it clears another committee, the bill will go to the full House for a vote, but can be vetoed by the governor. And another bill aims to revamp the A through F grading system for New Mexico public schools. It would allow a council of education professionals to create a completely new grading system. The bill now moves to the Senate Finance Committee. And after the break, Daniel will be back to take a look at your national forecast.
And later, listen to what the family of our first Black graduate has to say. More on that when News 22 continues.